Welcome back, Cats in Camo, Glock 43, Part 2. We're on the range. We shot paper. It's time to shoot steel with the single stack Glock 9mm. I have an extended magazine. We've got 8 rounds in this. And what we have are 7 targets. I have a torso on the left at 10 yards. I have 5 zombie heads glaring at me in the middle and slightly mocking me. And then on the far right, I have 1 more torso. That's 7. The goal is to hit each one once. And if I do that and still have that round left, this is a carry gun. It's a 3.1 inch barrel, but I'm an optimist. Set out at 40 yards is an 8-inch gong. If I can go 7 for 7 on this, I get 1 shot with a 3-inch barrel at 40 yards. Or not. You know, I thought I hit that zombie once and it didn't fall over. The second one barely fell. That is the worst shooting I think I've ever done with a handgun, and it's with my carry gun. I feel like a do-over. But you know what? Just so we're clear, that is one thing we don't do on this show. We shoot extra, not just what's filmed, but as soon as we start filming, what happens is what gets put on the show, because we're human, and also we want you to see how the guns function live for us. So as horrible as that was, and as embarrassed as I am by it, Allie's gonna make sure you see it. So Allie's doing 4 bowling pins and another can of my shaving cream, because that's just how she rolls, raiding my medicine cabinet. The Glock 43, chambered, live.
Better than you.
Hey, that's harsh. Let's give you a couple more rounds to finish.
Yeah. All right, everyone. We are back from the range with our Glock 43. Giving it a final review.
And this is where I make this sad face, because there's a tale to tell here.
So I get the violins out.
Great. It's gonna make me sadder yet. And make me watch Old Yeller too. Wow. We were talking about movie channels in the last episode, or watching movies with cable. Apparently my cable's old too. Old Yeller. All right. There are 8 categories that we review the gun on. Let's start with comfort of grip. This is a carry gun. It's small. It's not supposed to fill out your hands, especially when they're this size. But Glock did a good job on this, that it's no less comfortable than any other Glock. And I realize that's a backhanded comment. Let's just say I gave this a 3.
This gun, it felt nice. It felt comfortable. It wasn't extremely comfortable. It wasn't uncomfortable. So I think they hit it right on the money, right there where it's supposed to be, right there at industry standard. So 3 does seem like a good score for this.
Well, let's talk about the sights. And I'll be honest with you. This particular Glock 43 does not have factory standard sights. It has glowy dots. This has Trijicon night sights on it. So it is not...
They're not glowing.
The light's on. But nobody's home. Standard Glock sights is a white contrast front with the U-shape. It's like the ball in a cup sights. And they're plastic. These are steel, 3-dot, and they're a significant upgrade. And so I'm giving them a 4.
With the lights on and in the daylight, these sights seem like any other sights. I mean, you know, they're 3-dot, at least to me, and they just seem standard to me. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, that's what I have to go off of. So, 3 out of 5.
Let's talk about the trigger. This is a Glock factory trigger. This is not upgraded. It's industry standard. 3.
When a gun has a double-bladed trigger, I normally seem to like those better, but this gun didn't really seem to impress me on that. And there was a couple shots where I did seem to either jerk a little bit or it didn't quite go off when I expected it to, even with the double blade. So because of that, I'm just going to give it a middle ground 3.
Well, let's talk about perceived recoil. This is, it's still not a comfortable gun to shoot, just hundreds of rounds and go, yeah, it feels great. But it's still acceptable. It's not painful like some of the other 9mm carry guns, so I'm actually bumping my score that is on the paper. And I'm going to give it a 4.
I'm beginning to build an expectation for carry guns that they're just going to have more kick to them. That's just, again, smaller gun, there's nothing to absorb the recoil, it's going to have a bigger kick. Going into shooting this gun with that expectation, it did meet my expectation. Yeah, it has a bigger kick than other 9mm that aren't carry guns, but when I expect a bigger kick and I get it, then it's a 3.
I don't want to talk about the next part because the next part is accuracy. And I feel like every time I score a gun low, I have to apologize and remind viewers that this is not about mechanical precision of a firearm. It's about how we shoot the gun. So if it gets a lower score, a lot of times that's on the shooter. And in this case, I'm giving the Glock 43 a 2.
I would have to agree on accuracy.
That I was bad?
Besides that, I'm sorry, I have to, there's a small part of me that has to relish in this because you're normally like so good.
Thanks.
I'm sorry.
That was as close to a compliment as she's ever given me.
But for accuracy, again, you point it, you put it on target, you fire, and all of a sudden the bullet's over there, or the hole's over there. And then you do it again and the hole's up here. Or you miss and you have no idea if it was high, low, to the side, left, right. It just vanished. It's like you fired it and it evaporated into thin air. It's just, it was like,
Maybe
where
it
did it go? Because you
Maybe
can't
that was
adjust if you don't know, like, okay, it hit the dirt, I need to aim higher. You know, if it just vanishes, it's like, do I need to aim higher, lower?
Maybe we were shooting blanks.
I mean, maybe we
Explains
were.
so much.
But for that reason, I did have to agree that 2 seems like an appropriate score for this gun.
Let's talk about ease of reload, and this was back to a 3, just industry standard. It worked clean, the magazine dropped clean and went in clean, but it wasn't anything that I don't really expect from any of the other carry guns that are in my rotation, so it just seemed average, so 3.
When I practiced with this gun, I had a couple problems with the release button. Sometimes it would drop it. Sometimes I'd have to push it multiple times to drop it. And then other times it wouldn't drop clean. It would almost stick a couple times. And maybe this is just this particular gun, maybe it's because I'm holding it wrong. I'm sure there's an explanation for it, but for that reason I did have to give it a 2.
Let's talk about reliability. And usually reliability and Glock are almost synonymous. Maybe that's the German word for reliable. Probably not. But it could be. And this gun functions really well for a carry gun. It eats all kinds of ammo. It normally runs clean. I'm giving it a 4.
When it comes to reliability for me, I have less time on the range shooting these guns than he does. Which makes sense. He's the gun instructor. I'm not. But so he gets to try different ammos and all that kind of stuff, which is awesome. That makes his part of the review even better. But for somebody who's only shot one type of ammo through the gun, that's what I have to go off of. And for that, I have to give it a 3. It ate the ammo that I had. It didn't have any failures to eject. It fired when I pulled the trigger. So it did what it's supposed to do. So 3.
Let's talk about ease of maintenance and cleaning. The Glock 43 comes down the same way as every other Glock, which is actually kind of a miracle of engineering that they could do it this small and make it still this easy to take apart and put back together. So I'm going to give it a 4.
It seemed industry standard to me. It did come apart like other Glocks, which I thought was a good thing. I thought it was an average thing. Again, the amount of pieces involved affect my score as well. And Glock does a really good job of keeping it minimal pieces and easy pieces. So I just gave it a 3. It seemed industry standard to me.
Alright, well, let's total it up. I gave this a 27.
When you total up my score, it only comes up to 22. So, tell us, Dan, how much does this gun run for?
According to Glock's website, the manufacturer's suggested retail price of the Glock 43 is $580.
For this little thing?
Yes.
Wow.
Now, hard value on this gun. You can find this gun at gun shows and places, usually for about $450.
Okay.
Just still kind of on the high end for a standard carry gun, but with the reliability and longevity of the Glock, it's a wash.
Right.
Depends on your budget.
Well, that's all the time we have for today, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you liked this video, make sure to point those crosshairs at the like button down below, because we would like to know if you're actually enjoying this stuff. Also, if you have suggestions for us for guns that you would like to see us review, why don't you leave a note in the comments and let us know what you'd like to see us review.
And send it to us.
We would love to get your feedback on that. But make sure also to stay tuned for more reviews, because they're going to be coming soon.
Bring a friend.
See you then.